What should we do? Improve conditions on reserves, more economic development, this is in descending order, improve conditions for Native people in our cities, Native land claims less so, self-government less so. I think what people are saying here is change the lives of people, the legalistic issues, maybe you should put them aside and actually do stuff that actually helps people in the here and now. 9 and 10, reject a racist immigration policy. So this is, do you agree or disagree that non-whites should not be allowed to immigrate to Canada? 92%, it's at the highest level ever recorded, disagree with that, and only 7% agree that non-whites should not be allowed to come to Canada. Been tracking that for a very long time. The majority disagree that there's too much immigration. In spite of a recent spike in concern, this would be because of the recession, but essentially, it's quite interesting actually. You can see that throughout the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, more of us agreed that there were too many immigrants coming to Canada. And sometime around the turn of the millennium, we started to get more and more confident that immigrants coming to our country was a good thing. They were integrating pretty well, and they were helping the economy. And so you get a majority who disagree that we have too much immigration. A strong majority reject the idea that immigrants take away jobs from other Canadians. 73% disagree with that. Again, this is an opinion that has been pretty strong from the period since the turn of the millennium. Most people think immigrants help the economy grow, 80%, and this is again why all parties are welcoming immigration to Canada. And only 17% disagree. 2/3 believe, however, that too many immigrants do not adopt Canadian values, and this is 66%, it's up a bit. The concern as we dig into this is people who come, particularly Muslims who come, and particularly the concern is in Quebec. And the reason for this is the hijab, the niqab, which Canadians think is an emblem of religious patriarchy. And particularly Quebecers who remember in the 50s, the nuns walking around. I remember I was a Catholic boy looking like penguins and so on, and it looked like this is the way the men wanted them to dress. We got rid of that, and now we've got some people coming here, and it looks like the women are victims of religious patriarchy. Now, there are reasonable accommodations, I'm sure, for this, but that, I think, is the big concern, is that it's gender equality that people are really concerned about when people come to Canada. And if they don't embrace gender equality, we get really upset. Proportion believing crime is increasing is declining over time. So 52% say it's increasing, 37% say decreasing. Crime is, of course, on the agenda in this election. The majority prefer government invest in crime prevention over enforcement and punishment. So this asks people to choose which would be the priority. Education, prevention programs, 58% agree with that, versus 36% law enforcement, detecting crime and punishing lawbreakers. So the majority opinion is being tough on the causes of crime as opposed to being tough on criminals. Support for gun control is strengthened since 2005. So this is the federal laws in Canada concerning ownership of firearms. Law requires that Canadians register each firearm that they own, prohibits ownership of certain firearms, requires owners to pass safety tests, requires firearms are stored, unloaded in a secure place. And strong support is 55%, and another 20% somewhat support. So 75% are in favor of our gun laws. A slim majority continue to favor capital punishment for some crimes, so it's down from 77% down to 53%. Since 1979, we're now at about, it was nearly getting to about 50-50, but it's now about 50-40 in favor of the death penalty. When you ask people, however, if you had a choice between the death penalty and life imprisonment, 69% choose life imprisonment with no parole over death. Now there's a stereotype. You send them off to prison, and they're really going to a Four Seasons hotel where they are getting a very fine service. And I think there is a perception that people are getting off pretty lightly. So this is why that can become an issue in an election campaign. Increasing majority support a woman's right to choose abortion. We use the hard language. Do you agree or disagree? Every woman who wants to have an abortion should be able to have one. We don't use this right to life and choice and all those terms. We use the term. 74% of Canadians, the highest we've ever recorded, believe that a woman should be able to choose abortion. 22% are opposed. 7 in 10 now support same-sex marriage. 43% strongly support it, 25% somewhat support same-sex marriage. So these kind of liberal, policies are something that over time Canadians are embracing. And a lot of these are correlated: death penalty, abortion, same-sex marriage. A lot of this stuff is correlated in our research.